What if I told you that a conversation, a series of conversations, could impact your quality of life in unmeasurable proportions? Well, I'll come up with this forum called Lion's Den's Podcast with me, Lion Man, that's designed to inspire, motivate, educate, and put a fire under your feet that'll have you running toward those sleeping dreams, visions, and desires that's been dormant way too long. Let's have a conversation. I'd like to welcome you all for tuning in. I don't take it lightly. I'm very appreciative of you supporting my vision. But not only that, but it creates an opportunity and a seat for someone to hear something, a suggestion from my experience, education, and others' experiences that I've set and been a recipient of to help someone else move to their next level. And when we last met, it was episode 3, and we were talking about there's greatness in the midst of adversity, in the storms of adversity. Well, we're going to build upon that, and we're going to talk about, which is in this episode, episode 4, in the midst of the storms of adversity. When you're in the adversity, when you're sitting there in the adversity, what do I do? How do I conduct myself? Yes. Well, I'll let you know first off, before we begin, that I have not monopolized and came up with this grand old turn on the light switch system or words that's going to be the only way to impact someone's life. Just through my experiences, my own theories that I put into practice for myself, and education, that I found something that was helpful to me. And I'm hoping that it could be helpful to someone else too. I know that what I go through isn't just about me. It's about me sharing with someone else, because see, we're creatures of relationship. We were created for relationship. We're supposed to help one another. And all that I went through was to show me how strong I am, but also to prepare me for my purpose. And that is to help someone else who's going through at a stage that I've already came out of. Not that I've arrived. I still got a lot of learning to do. There's still a lot of other people out there that are going to influence and teach me. And I'm teachable and I'm open to that. So with that all said, let's get into in the midst of the storms of adversity. What do I do? And one of the things that I recognized in the beginning was, and I also posted a promo in a theory that I've actually tried in the analogy that I'm going to utilize. But it's called, bracing versus embracing, right? Now, I found that as an analogy, you should use a car accident. When you see an accident about to happen and you bracing yourself for the impact, you also take the impact as well, because you tense up your muscles and you brake just like the car brake. And usually the embracing of the impact happens when you're not paying attention, because it's just a normal human response to brace for it when you see it. But if you could practice or be in a situation where you embrace the impact and you absorb the impact, it causes you less harm. You wonder why there's people that walk away from car accidents. Yes, we know divine spiritual understanding that it was not their time and God determines that. But I also believe too that they're in a position that they're not paying attention and or they embrace the impact and absorb it, and it causes them less harm. Well, that's the way that I look at the adversity as we walk through it and what I've learned, right? So the analogy that I did was I went out in the rain because, see, I was a person that, the rain symbolized, uncomfortableness, a discomfort. You got your umbrella shielding from the rain. Being caught in the rain isn't, the ideal thing. But there's people that purposefully enter into the rain and get enjoyment from it. So I wondered how that would work. And if I translate that into what do I do in the midst of the storms of adversity, I went out to the rain to enjoy it, to feel the coldness of the rain, the wetness. And when I did that on purpose to embrace it, I got a different feeling and enjoyment out of it. It wasn't frustrating, it wasn't aggravating, it wasn't cold and wet, that was a discomfort. I actually enjoyed it and was calling on for more. Well, I look at it, going through adversity the same way. If I embrace the adversity that I'm going through, no, I'm not happy that I'm in the adversity. No, it ain't the ideal place because it's hardship. It's going through something that's a difficult time, a difficult moment. But if I can embrace where I'm at in the moment, then there's a possibility that I'll come on the other side of that with a lesson learned and a new direction, a new understanding, a new way of doing something so that I get a different result, of strength that has been built in me that I did not know that I had because the adversity brought forth the knowledge to myself that I can handle this, right? So I embrace and I absorb the adversity. Now, understand that getting to a place where this is 100% effective and you fully benefit from the adversity is going to take time. It's going to take practice. I'm just now myself getting to a place where I'm consciously being aware of the adversity so that I can get something out of it. Because see, we all get a turn. Okay? Life is like this. We all get a turn and no one is exempt. I had a great man in my life that left me with a nugget. And he said that life is cruel, but it's fair because it's cruel to everybody. Everybody gets a turn. My turn may not look like your turn. And to you, because I sit in a certain place and in a certain status, you may think and have no connection of how tumultuous that turn of adversity I'm going through is for me. So this is strictly personal, okay? And your adversity is heavy, and it's heavy for you. But it's also there to help you, to strengthen you, to enlighten you, and to prepare you to level up. But understand again, to fully benefit, it's a process. It takes conscious awareness and practice. And there's a skill that can help with that. And it's called mindfulness. Mindfulness meditation. And you can find that through what they call DBT therapy. It's a dialectical behavioral therapy. And mindfulness meditation teaches you how to focus. This is the education piece now. And as you practice mindfulness, which is a focused meditation, and when you start off, you may have that focus and your mind wander? Will you bring your mind back to what your focus is? No matter how many times your mind wander, when you recognize it, you bring it back. In the beginning, you may think that you're failing at this because it's happening so often. But understand that's not a loss, that's a win. Every time you brought it back. And you can practice this in 2-minute increments, 5-minute increments. You know, you don't have to sit for no hours and put that type of strain on yourself. But you will find over time, as you continue to practice this, that you will be able to hold your attention and focus longer. Same way with conditioning yourself to absorb and embrace the adversity as you sit in it so that you can maximize the experience. Identify with the strength that you can utilize moving forward in your life, level up, and help somebody else behind you. Now, one of the reasons why we end up in some of the places that we do is because of our coping skills. Some people are inherently, it's situational, different areas. I believe that people, lack in different areas of unhealthy coping skill, where they may be healthy in this area, unhealthy in that area. And what I found is that, it's environmental, right? Your environment can be an influence on a healthy or unhealthy coping skill. Your experiences develops that. But let's talk to the individual in this extreme. That individual that's dealing with mental health. That individual that's dealing with a drug addiction. That individual that's dealing with a trauma from birth or childhood that was so horrific. And most of us keep those inside and don't share it. And so we walk through life finding a way to ease the pain, whether it's through shopping, putting down another person, drugs, alcohol. Some people, it can even be and mask itself in the form of success. Their drive is so hard to succeed. But don't get it twisted. That's the same candy bar wrapped in a different wrapper. They will hit a wall because it's an unhealthy way wrapped in a healthy wrapper. This is inside work we're talking about. We're talking about being okay with self. And understand that this is something that we'll continue to strive for to the end of our days. It's not going to be a place where we have arrived. However, we continue to strive. And for the person behind us, they can get further than we can if we reach back and share with them at a point in their life where at that time in my life, I was that. But they got some information a little sooner. That gives them a more opportunity to go a little further. So, what do I do when I'm sitting in the midst of my adversity? Well, I consciously practice being aware and accepting and embracing the adversity that I'm in. And trust me, this is not an easy task. I just came off of, I haven't came out of the adversity. I'm in the adversity, but I'm just now getting to the point of being able to embrace it. Because I started with the last broadcast, I left you with letting you know that I'm moving into a year of a new level and some new adversities. And the adversities was at my door. And we're talking about financial adversities that I have not experienced in this way before. Because I was frivolous with money. I didn't do what I needed to do and supposed to do with my money. But now I'm at a place where I'm more responsible and I'm taking care of the things I need to take care of. And I'm trying to get to the next level. And I'm not running the streets and selling drugs and using drugs and and homeless and doing all those things anymore, right? And so now the records of my past begins to find me. And there's obligations and responsibilities that I'm supposed to be taking care of that I have been absent from, that are now showing up. And I know that on the other side of this adversity is financial freedom. But I must first go through this. But in order to go through this, I got to embrace it. And it took me a couple of months to get my head strapped down and the mentality to completely embrace and absorb the reality of this. So a budget, strict budget, I stick to it. And it wasn't easy, and it ain't easy. So I'm not telling you something that I believe is supposed to happen overnight. I'm consciously aware of that, and I'm sharing the truth with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and let you think that this is supposed to be some easy route. Man, these are some hard things to do. This is life, and life is a struggle. Life is difficult. Life is hard. Even for that rich man you think got it easy. Even for that celebrity that you feel got it easy. See, we live in a time now where you can look at information is at your fingertips. Technology has brought us into the homes and the lives of people that we never seen or witnessed before in my day. And so you see the struggles and the traumas and the experiences of adversity that celebrities go through. So you have a greater and a better understanding today of how true that is than years and decades before. So what do we do? What do I do in the midst of the storm of adversity? I'm learning to embrace it. I'm learning to accept it. When it's my turn, I embrace it, I accept it, so my turn will come and it'll go. If I fight against it, if I be in denial about it, if I try to find a way to not feel during it, I only prolong that adversity. It may wave out, but the storm is going to come back around again because I didn't learn anything from it. I know this. This ain't something that I read. This is what I've experienced. This has been my life. I know this. DBT taught me something that was very valuable to me. And it's called radical acceptance. This is another educational piece. Radical acceptance is accepting the truth as it is and not running from it. If I run from it, that's all I do is prolong my consequences. If I don't accept it or be in denial, I just prolong my consequences. I'm still going to receive my consequences. I just prolonged it by sidestepping, avoiding it, and denying it. But if I accept it, then I go through my consequences and my turn comes and I move on to the next one. I'll share this with you. It was the truth of how I got an understanding of radical acceptance. I caught a case. In this case, I was blessed to be put in what they call Veterans Court. Veterans Court for Court of Helps. My charges did not even qualify for this court. This is God's favor. And in the midst of that, because I had behavioral issues, they put me in a behavioral lockdown facility after I left jail. During that time, I said, when I get out of here, if a 15-month program, I'm going to do what I got to do this without any problems, and I'm done. When I got out that facility, I went right back to what I was doing. A month and a half. But because I like learning, and I like learning about myself, and it's a court that helps, I was recommended or assessed to go to DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, because it was a therapy that helped with behavioral issues and some of the issues that I had with my mental health. And as I continued to go to that and run in the streets, I came across information that taught me radical acceptance. And when I realized that, I said, my thinking at first was, they catch me when they catch me. And how stupid is that? But when I got that information, I was used to running away from the consequences. Did not want to face them. But when I heard that, it said, man, I'm going to go through it regardless. So let's face it now. And I manned up. And I'm supposed to go into court once a month. And I hadn't been going. So I went back into court. And I was very fearful. Did not know what the outcome was going to be or anything. I just took that information. I ran with it. And I stood before the judge, and I told him exactly what I've been doing, what I was engaged in, what was going on with me. And I also had a plan, too. And the judge said, you know something? If you believe in that plan, I'm going to believe in it with you. And I'm going to rock with you through this until you graduate this program. That's what radical acceptance got me. I'm not saying that the outcome is always going to be favorable. There's still consequences. And there was consequences that I faced in that. But they wasn't as harsh. And I got them over with quickly because I accepted the truth for what it is. The adversity I sat in. Radical acceptance. I know that this has helped me sharing with you. I hope that it helped you. And if it did not help you, and you know someone that it may benefit from it, share it with them. Ask them to sit down and take a listen, because it may be helpful. And I know that it's out there for one person, for sure. God wouldn't have me sitting here if I'm not supposed to at least reach one person. So I thank you today for tuning in. And I hope, and my prayer is, that you begin to be mindful as you go into your adversity, that let me try something new and see if this may benefit me, and embrace this adversity, and come out on the other side with some information that may keep me from experiencing this adversity again, and be able to identify with my strength. And then allow me to go back and help somebody else who I see that's sitting in a seat that I was sitting in. I don't have to be at the front row. I ain't got to make it up to the front row. I only need to be in the row that's in front of them. And I can offer a hand to help. Thank you for sitting with me. And I look forward to seeing you again.